well, yeah. And this would tell them that what they are reading, what they are hearing is definitely not from him, because he doesn't even know how to read and write. Imagine someone, no, listen to this.
He didn't know how to read and write. So how long was he getting these revelations for?
For over 23-year period.
So why didn't someone teach him how to read and write in a 23-year period?
Because that wasn't the purpose of the Prophet Muhammad.
But it must be more accurate. So whilst he's getting a revelation, if he could write it down himself, I mean, someone could easily teach him about it.
But hear me out. Let me finish what I'm saying. I'm saying, imagine someone who writes, for example, who writes a book, yes, and he writes it in perfect English. He writes it in a perfect prose, and his structure of grammar and everything is absolutely perfect. And then he turns around and he says to you, I don't know how to read and write. Would you believe it?
I believe it.
Yes.
If he wrote it down?
Yes.
If he wrote it down, then obviously he can read and write.
Yes. No, he claims that that book is something that is his, yes, and this is, it's been present to you as his. But when he met you, he says, I can't read and write. Would you believe him?
I believe that someone has obviously taught him how to read and write, so therefore he's written that book, or someone else has written it for him, something like that. Right?
Yeah. So that's a question you would ask him, isn't it? You would ask him, did someone write this for you? But you see, a person who's not who's unlearned, who didn't go to university, who did not go to school, yes? Do you really think he would be able to come up with structure and prose and language, yes, as compared to a person who actually studied at the university level? Yes. Do you really think that it would basically be the same in terms of the way they structure the language? It would be different, isn't it?
Yeah,
someone who is unlearned, yes, they'll have a very rough language, rough in the sense that maybe there might be grammatical mistakes, there might be mistakes in the way they structure the sentence, they might be using words which are very simplistic when you could use some, I don't know, when you could use something more sophisticated in terms of forming the sentence. You would tell from the structure of the sentence, and you could actually gauge the understanding that this person is probably just someone who barely knows English.
If God is all powerful, yeah? And surely God could have taught him how to read and write. You know?
He could have. So, but like I said, that wasn't the purpose of God.
No, but so when he actually has recited what he's been told, and someone has written it down, he can say, for these are fallible people, he can say, well, this is not what I actually said, you wrote it down wrong. And he can verify it. And then if you're dictating to me something, and I'm writing down the dictation, and you come and proofread it afterwards, and you may find a lot of grammars and errors in it. Now, Muhammad is the only one that had revelation firsthand. He can't read it and see if there's any errors in it. So they might have written down in errors. They consider it written down in pieces of parchment.
He can't read, but can he hear?
You can hear.
So imagine you wrote something, I dictated something to you, and you wrote it down with an error. Yes, I will ask you to read it back to me. Remember, I know what I dictated. Yes, because I memorized it.
Oh, Muhammad memorized it.
Of course, he memorized the entire Quran.
So every time he had a recitation,
he would memorize it.
So in 23 years,
he memorized the entire Quran. And not only that, every year in the month of Ramadan, the angel himself would actually come and ask Muhammad to recite the Quran to ensure that this is double checked for quality and for what it's being recited in terms of any mistakes or any errors in memory or in terms of the way he recites it.
If he memorized it, why did they need to write it down on pieces of parchment and pieces of bone?
Because you see, in the time of Arabia, at that time, 1400 years ago, the paper, the papyrus, whatever it was very expensive. So they would write it on whatever was available at that time. Not only that, the primary source of the way it was propagated, the Quran, was by memory. Because you see, the Arabs at that time, they had very good memory. They would remember the genealogy of their horses. Yes, that this horse's mother was this and this father was this. They would basically have such in-depth knowledge in terms of memorizing that they would memorize things like that, which to us might be mundane, which might not even be relevant. They would memorize poetries, lengthy poetries, yes? And you see, there is also evidence in the Iliads, you know the Iliads, which was written by, I believe, by, what's his name? The Greek guy, Homer. Yes? So Homer has written, and at that time they say that this was basically written down from memory, or written down. It's a lengthy tale, you know, the tale of
Gilgamesh.
Not Gilgamesh, probably not that, but it's basically the story of Greece, you know, when Greece and the Romans and basically when they used to have wars and so on. It's all this mythology of the Greeks and the Romans, and it's quite a lengthy one, and they say that was written from memory. But anyway, what I'm saying is that You see, Muhammad was able to understand what people, when they recited back to him. So when the scribes used to recite back to him, he would tell them he would either correct them or tell them to put this verse in a particular location within the scripture of the Quran. So they would know.
How would they know? Like, say for instance, you're taking that Quran out of Mecca, Medina, you're going to Africa, Somalia, and you're using your voice to translate it to a different language as well.
No, it's the same language. The Quran is always in Arabic, my friend. And that is the beauty of the Quran. You see, it is translated.
It's translated into English now.
I totally agree. It is translated, but that translation is not from the Quran. There's a difference between the Quran and the translation of the Quran. And the translation of the meaning of the Quran. So what I'm saying is that if you go to Somalia, you go to America, you go to Australia, you go to India, you will find the same Quran in Arabic recited by Arabs and non-Arabs.
Yeah, but isn't it translated into different language so they can understand it?
No, it is translated, I agree. But remember what I told you, the translation is not the Quran. The Quran remains from the time of Muhammad until when God wishes it to.
The glorious Quran is translated into English.
Yeah, of course there is translation.
And they say there's some translation errors in it,
You see the translations you'll find different. Like for example, if you read the KJV and the NIV, you'll find different wordings for the same verse. This is basically the translation from the original into English, because not everything in Arabic can be rendered into English. You have to somehow look at the culture, look at the idioms and translate it instead of translating everything literally. Otherwise it won't make sense to you. So there is something always lost when you translate it from language A to language B. So that's the reason we always keep it in Arabic, regardless of your background, regardless of where you're from.
But I can't understand Arabic.
When you rely on the translation.
Your classical Arabic as well. People say you've got to learn the original Arabic when you're not being used to it.
It's used to it, of course.
But the classical Arabic is still being used.
Classical Arabic is used to it,
yes. But I mean, someone's giving me the Quran and it's in English. And they say, well, you can't really understand it unless you learn Arabic and read it in Arabic.
You know
what I mean? So for me, it's like a disadvantage to me. And like, when I look at it, I find myself, there's so much confusion, especially even in Islam. You've got different sects of Islam, you've got Sunnis and Shias, Ahmadiyas, and you've got Sufis. So there's so many different belief systems in Islam as well.
Just like any other religion.
In Christianity, it's even worse. There's about 4 or 5 different denominations of Christianity.
I think all the faiths, even the Judaism, even other faiths, they all they all have this different sects, different interpretation of the original. But you see, if you find in all the different religions, you'll find one mainstream. Yes? mainstream Sunni Islam. Whenever it comes to the Quran, trust me, even the Shias, even the Ahmadis, even these people, they are actually unanimous in the sense that they all agree with the Quran, that the Quran is how they interpret.
And also one other thing.
Do you understand that? There's a difference. Even the sects of Islam, they agree that the Quran in Arabic is what it is, and they read it as such.
I was trying to go to Trafalgar Square today, You got a fantastic celebration, Diwali celebration. And some of my friends have gone down there, they're Hindus. Really nice people. Now, God is watching these people for centuries following this belief, which came before Islam, before Christianity, and having a fantastic celebration. These are really good people. Now, if the Quran came about, and it's the one true word of God, and God can see all the different belief systems, you've got Christians, you've got Islam, you've got Buddhists, why can't He resolve this? By coming out and telling people, right, all you guys, you're all worshiping the wrong religion, these guys are right.
What makes you think that if God came down, they would believe Him?
Because He showed Himself. He was a parent. And
isn't that what the Christians believe, that God came down? You see what happened?
It more division.
By your own admission, the Christians themselves have fallen into so many different sects. So you see, just because claiming that God comes down and tells everyone, first and foremost, when you say God comes down, He has to first relate to you. The only way He can relate to you is for Him to become a mortal, a human being. And that wouldn't be God, that would be someone else then. You see what I mean? So your logic and your understanding of God coming down, it doesn't really work, because what happens is that no one can see God and live. Yes, look at the sun itself. The sun is a creation of God. When it's really a sunny day, even in Britain, yes, are you able to look at the sun directly without being affected by it?
No, you get blind.
Yeah, so you will have trouble looking at the sun. Remember, this is the creation of God. Not only that, this is like billions of miles away. I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of miles away. How can you stand God Himself, who is mightier than all this creation, all the stars put together? Yes? How will you be able to see Him? And that's the reason you cannot see God and live, at least not in this world. But in the hereafter,
Christians believe that God was humbled Himself, to become a man.
That means no more God.
And live yeah, but that's what he did. That's the whole point of it.
So it defeats the purpose of God coming down.
He became a human being for 30 years or 33 years.
And they got killed by his own creation.
He got created,
He got killed by his own creation.
Yeah, that was what he's...
Doesn't even make sense, bro. Exactly. So that's the reason. Anyone who says that why doesn't God come down as a man and then tell us all to come together, because...
But you're saying it doesn't make sense, but 2/3 of the world population believe in this Christianity.
It doesn't matter.
More than...
It doesn't matter, my friend. The point here is this, it's not the quantity of people who believe or disbelieve. You know, very soon there are countries, actually there are already countries in Northern Europe, yeah? So if you go to places like Scandinavia, the number of Christians have dwindled in comparison to atheism. Atheism has caught on there, so you'll find some places where it's 70% atheists. Just because...
In this country it's 52% atheists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just because the number of atheists have grown in this particular region, it doesn't mean atheism is correct, is it? So that logic also doesn't work. It is not the number of people, it is what you are being taught and whether it makes complete sense. You see, because if God gives you a particular revelation, yes, He's going to give it to you in such a way that it makes sense to you, that you are able to reason with the intellect God has given you.
It's better to be open-minded and be prudent to say, maybe I can be wrong, I can falsify my own beliefs. And if I test my beliefs and think, I could be wrong in this, you might find that you are right. Yeah? But if you're not willing to test it...
No, but God has given a falsification test already. God has given us a falsification test in the Quran with regards to itself. When God says that this is, we have revealed the book, we have revealed the zikr, and we have preserved it. So this is one way that God is telling you that He's preserved it. Now another verse tells us that if this book is from anyone other than Allah, surely you'll find discrepancies and contradictions in it.
But then that's a circular argument. Because you're saying,
no, hear me out. My friend, you let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Okay? Quran is basically open itself to being critiqued. Yes? Now you tell me that, you see that all you need to do as a person who's not a Muslim, yes, as a person who wants to challenge the Quran, is to find a single contradiction.
Contradiction?
Yes, that is what the Quran's challenge is. Find a single contradiction in the Quran, and then you will prove that this is not a book of God.
That's what the Quran is about, the creation story.
But is that a fair test?
Yeah, the creation
Is that a fair falsification test? Good. So now all you need to do as a non-Muslim is to prove that. And you know what? Trust me, many people over the centuries have tried it.
Well, I find the creation story in the Quran is contradictory.
Really? Go on. Give me something from the creation story.
What was the first
of the Quran?
What was the first thing that Allah created? Said the pen, yeah?
Allah says, yeah, it's a pen. Some say it's a throne, but there are different opinions. So what is the contradiction? I want to know.
How can you create a pen? A pen is made out of heavy materials. You know?
Oh my God. Is that the pen you think?
A pen, maybe. Back in the days, pens were made of heavy.
Bro, do you really think a literal pen?
Well, it's not a literal pen.
It's not a literal pen in the sense that we see it as a pen.
Okay, what is it?
It can be. Look, it's a metaphoric term.
It's a metaphorical pen.
Yeah, it's a metaphoric term, maybe, referring to what God created.
Now, how do you know?
We don't know what kind of pen it was. We don't know whether it was a quill or basically it was a pen, because earlier they didn't have pens. They used to write with the feathers.
How can you have a quill? It's created a quill when you have a
I'm not saying. Look, I'm not claiming I know what it is.
Yeah.
All God said is that He created this, but how is it in contradiction? I want to know. Whatever form that pen is in, I want to know where is the contradiction.
Right, so a pen will be made out of heavy elements, yeah? And the first thing that
is a pen you're thinking of. You see, you got a perspective of a pen.
It's a magic pen.
We don't know what kind of pen. I've just told you.
Why call it a pen then? What are you going to
Because you see, this is a pen in the sense that you and I don't know.
And what's he got a pen for? To write on something, isn't it?
I don't know myself.
So what's he going to write on?
Allah wrote, for example, Allah wrote in, it's called the preserved tablets. Yes? He wrote the entire Quran, for example. He wrote all the other revelations which came. So he wrote it, and we don't know what kind of pen it was or what kind of preserved tablets they
were. So he wrote this before he created the earth?
Yes. Before he created anything.
Alright, so he used a pen and wrote it on tablets before there was anything like rocks or...
Why are you worried about that? Why are you worried about that? Why don't you ask about the tree in Jannah?
Because it's a contradiction. He asked for a contradiction.
Don't you understand? That's not a contradiction.
Sorry, I need to take this call quickly, but I'll be back. Can someone just finish up?
We're going to pray anyway.
Alright, hopefully after prayer will come, yeah?
Nice speaking to you, man.